Hi, everybody. This is Dee Dee Russell with WeddingVenueOwners.com and the Wedding Venue Owners and Managers group on Facebook. And welcome. This is our wedding venue stories where we reach out to an incredible wedding venue owner in our community. And we learn a little bit about their wedding venue and their journey to become a wedding venue owner and all of the great information that they have to share, which is so valuable, important to our community members because you all are interested in hearing more from each other and learning from each other. So without further ado, let's introduce our featured venue owner this week, which is Ron. And Ron, if you will tell us about your venue and where you're located and all of that good stuff. Introduce yourself, please.
Good move there, girl. Yeah, we're just north of Greenville, South Carolina, and I'm up in Travelers Rest. Literally a 10-minute drive from Greenville, Greenville is becoming one of the top, cities in the country. It's just gorgeous here, and I have a 33-acre ranch that I built, and it has a view of the North Carolina mountains. It's on a 3-acre spring-fed lake, rolling hills, unbelievable sunsets, and we've created something pretty cool here.
Well, that was lovely. I hope that's all over your website. That beautiful intro was lovely. Well, welcome, Ron. Thank you so much for joining today and for all that you do in your local community, which we'll get to, and abroad. And I want to just kind of touch on your incredible and interesting background before you even started a wedding venue. If you could share a little bit of your corporate life before becoming a venue owner.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of had it, everything kind of came to, a head where this made a lot of sense for me to do. I had a long career with Club Corp, which is the largest private club corporation in the world. And so I have this hospitality background. Our training manual came from the Ritz-Carlton. So we were all highly trained individual general managers and regional managers. So I started off as a general manager and then I became a regional manager. So all these things kind of led to making sense to do a venue. I've put on spectacular events for country clubs, high-end country clubs all my life. So I just basically said, before I die, I'm going to do something for myself. And you never know how it's going to work out, but it's been a real blessing. And I guess one positive message out of all that is I have a really good friend that I was in Club Corp with me, and he's been working at a world-class golf course down in Aiken, South Carolina for 20-some years, and I hadn't seen him in a while. He reached out to me, wanted me to come down, and he makes a buku a load of money. I mean, the guy he works for is the largest landowner in South Carolina. So he's doing extremely great things, But anyways, after I went down to see him, we had breakfast and we parted ways. And he says to me, "Ron, I envy you." And I'm like, "You envy me, man? Look at the surroundings around you." And he goes, "No, you own it." And that just, whoa. And it's not, so yeah, I do feel like, if you can get into entrepreneurship and ownership, I mean, it's just a different world. And, thank God I decided to do this before I get too old, so.
Well, I love that you brought that up. There is a great difference between running a venue for someone else, and there's so much value there because you learn so much, you get so much experience, you have someone else backing you up where you might have weaknesses that you haven't learned, about yet. Having that corporate structure sometimes is one of the best educations you can get as you're learning and growing. It's also maybe helps you appreciate more when you finally are the owner and you don't have that over you, because as most of us with a corporate background know, some of our managers are idiots. And some of them are phoning it in, and some of them are checked out months earlier because they know in 8 months they're moving to a new project. And so they're completely checked out of your project and don't care there's always little things in the corporate world that happen. Sometimes there's a focus on all the lawyers, input, and the lawyers' input over how romantic, beautiful luxury events should be managed is not always, those two things don't always mix together very well. And you're sitting there saying, but I could do it so much better and different. And, you're kind of bound. So when you break those binds and you get out on your own, it is both terrifying sometimes and exhilarating and exciting and unknown, all wrapped into a nice tornado of, starting your own business.
But it makes a difference. I say this all the time. And after a couple of years of doing tours and taking these young couples around, I tell everybody that when I started this, I thought my hospitality background would be a little bit of a factor. It's a huge factor, and not everybody gets it. And my background was world-class service. Member expectations, taking care of members all my life. All the little things that go into that is what makes a venue very successful. And I guess I would just, I thought it would make a difference, but it's making a huge difference. And I can tell by the questions I get when these couples come to me and ask me these questions. Like, I know they've been to other venues and these questions arise and I fall off my chair laughing sometimes. I go, you got to be kidding me. This is the most precious day of your life. You'll notice that on my sheet, I don't have any rules. I don't even know how to write the word rules. I'd probably misspell it. I'm not used to following rules. This is your most precious day. We're going to do whatever you want me to do, period. And even my staff, I tell them, what's your job description? I think we went over this one time before, Dee Dee, but I said, write down to me in one sentence, what do you think your job is? And they all wrote me something. I have 3 dedicated wedding coordinators here. They all wrote down something, and I said, no. I go, I'm gonna make it real simple for you. You make these people happy, period. That's all I care about. They just gave me a big chunk of money, make them happy, so that should be easy. I don't care if it costs me, a couple $100 extra dollars or whatever they want to do. Just take care of them so that they feel like, this is an unbelievable experience here at the ranch.
So on that, I think that venue owners getting started that may not have had a club core training and background, and also the culture, the company culture that has obviously kind of, guided you in some of your direction as you have owned your own venue. But the company culture being that, this is a luxury product and that you have luxury clientele and that you want to give them an experience that exceeds their expectations, that makes them, so loyal to your brand and to your product and to what you have to offer, that they are sharing it with everyone, that they're excited to tell others about it, that they feel that investment they made with you, that they're proud that they made that investment. They feel great about it at the end. These are real challenges for business, so for wedding venue owners specifically, because a lot of times the wedding venue is so personal to them. Sometimes they live on the property. Sometimes they invested everything under the sun in it. Sometimes they put so much more than they ever thought they had into it. So when anyone comes along and questions the quality or the decisions or the policies, sometimes or ask them to extend what they do. Sometimes there's a hard line in boundaries, which I absolutely agree with 100%, but sometimes there's just a disconnect between figuring out how to provide excellent customer service and communication. So as you're training your team, what are some of the things you do to train them to provide that great experience, to keep boundaries that are important, but to understand that they're providing an experience, a luxury experience, not a necessity, not something that somebody had to purchase? How do you convey that to your team so that you know that they're representing you in the way that you want to be represented?
Well, so as far as my staff goes, in Club Corp, I got selected to train other general managers on these 5 different skill sets. And one of them was the art of hiring. Okay, so I found it fascinating, and it changed all the ways I interviewed and stuff. But anyway, I had to go get this training on. This professor was telling me, let's practice on hiring a general manager. So write down all the things a general manager must have in order for you to consider this person for the job. And so we all wrote down stuff. And he gets done. He says, all right, how many people have more than 5 things? We all raised our hand. And because you just eliminated the entire population of the United States. Dee Dee, give me your list, right? And then I would go, Dee Dee, why must I have a college education? Why must I have 5 years worth of experience? Why must I have this and that? If you couldn't defend it 100%, you had to cross it off. And all those things make sense to me. 85% of your hiring decision should be based on compatibility with you, right? If you and I were interviewing the same person, you know, it's my style versus your style. Are you going to be compatible to, you know, the top person? And vice versa, you know, am I going to be compatible with you, and are you going to be compatible with me? So if you base 85% of your decisions on that, then you'll find that you're changing your interview questions, and you're trying to find out what she's really like. You know, what's her personality, what's your values, those types of things. Then the other 15% should be based on capability. You know, Dee Dee, are you capable of doing the job?
Does it require Saturdays? I don't like those. I like to party on Friday, and I don't know if I can come in on Saturdays.
Yeah, we might not get along.
Are Saturdays important?
Every day is important, Dee Dee.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah. I know.
So anyways, it changes things. And if you were to form, if there is such a thing as a perfect team, that's where you kind of start. You know, you build from, you know, as you know, like you walk into any place of business, you can, if you pay attention, it takes on the personality of the boss, you know. You know, I got this background. I'm known for fun. I like creating different things. I'm extremely fun in nature. I mean, I got a lot of friends. We have a great times. You know, I started this living large movement, living your life intentionally. So we, you know, are always planning stuff. But so I like the person that maybe has a little bit of experience, but is just willing to learn. So when I hire somebody, you know, I know I'm giving them stuff that, unless they came from Club Corp, they don't have it, you know, or unless they came from Ritz-Carlton or something, some of the top places that, you know, really invest a lot in training resources. So, you know, hopefully over time, all that stuff rubs off. I like to share. So, and I like to have fun. So I tell everybody the key to success is being prepared. So I'm very detail oriented. But the girls all know that on wedding day, if you ask me to do something for you that day, my mind's going to immediately go to, could you have asked me to do it yesterday? Because I want to have everything ready so that the special day is nothing but fun. And that feeling, that atmosphere, that culture just permeates throughout the whole day. And it permeates down to the bride and the groom and the family and the guests. And, you know, we just keep hitting home runs here. And it seems so easy, but it's not, you know, it's just the way we, you know, I was trained and I've trained my people. So
do you have meetings after each event? Like, do you have Monday meetings or Tuesday meetings where you kind of go and recap the event and you kind of make a structure? It's like a living, breathing thing that happens. So we had a policy on Friday and we had all of our structure, but then we had this wedding and these things occurred. And now we got some new policies on Monday or Tuesday, or just some new reminders or some new efforts to tidy up certain sections. What does that look like in your system?
Well, we usually have to take Monday and Tuesday to recuperate. So
right.
Our meetings are on Wednesday, and it still gives us enough time to get ready for the, and I try to get the whole staff here. And in Club Corp, we always had this thing called continuous improvement. So it's you know, and you'd think after 2.5 years, I'd have everything, you know, wired, and there's no situation that could come up that, you know, I wasn't prepared for, but there's always something. You know, so you always want to review the past and see what you could have done better. And then you look at the future and you try to make sure, you know, everything's, we have a checkoff list, and, you know, are all these things ready to go for this? We got a wedding tomorrow. So, you know, we've been working all day on all week on the details of getting ready for that. So tomorrow should go kind of, you know, smoothly.
So, let's go back a little bit. A lot of our venue owners that come to wedding venue owners and managers community on Facebook ask the same question. It comes up so often, and that is, how do you start a wedding venue? We don't have time to go into that today, 1, 2, 3, but it is really a 1, 2, 3 list. It's like, if you don't have your property, then searching for a property, that's one whole thing to talk about. That's a whole lot to unpack right there. Let's just say you've got your property, you've purchased it, you're going through the permits process. Let's get beyond that and talk about, kind of just like you start your social media, you start reaching out to your community, you start to have events, or you think about advertising. What are some of the things that new venue owners really selfishly need to do for their little planet, their little island, to just start to thrive? What are some of the suggestions or tips you might give to a small business owner in the starting phase? I'll go first, actually. I'm going to butt in before you even started talking, Ron. Actually, Ron, you could just take a nap right here. I think I'm going to take over. I'll be short, I promise. My pet peeve, for venue owners is that some charming person comes along and sells them something crazy, and they jump right into it, and they get in a contract, and they haven't even secured their own website being their best sales rep. They haven't created their socials. They haven't created their avenues that they own and belong to, that they can manage and turn on and off with the money faucet whenever they want to, whenever it makes sense. And they have that one friend that probably knows just enough about weddings to give you a lot of bad advice mixed with a dash of truth. So those are my 2 pet peeves, is that somebody bad comes along in your initial process and gives you terrible advice, and it's all downhill from there. Then you got to get rid of that relationship and undo what they did. So those are my 2 things. Look out for that bad advice giver, and, ask a lot of people. Don't just go with one person.
Well, I would only add to that is, there's so much involved. I mean, I could, I know a lot, but about halfway through this construction, I said, holy crap, how do people do this? I mean, it took me 9 months to get my permits and stuff. But you have to have, you can't just wing this stuff. You got to have a business plan. A business plan is a document that basically guides you through the beginning process and what you're trying to accomplish. You gotta write that down. You got to visualize that. What's it all going to be, and how much is it? What is your plan of attack? In the club business, in the private club business, in Club Corp, we didn't ever advertise. So that's in my blood that I'm not going to advertise. I'm just going to do a dang good job. You watch what happens, and that's the way clubs grow. That's the way I grew. in any business, you should base a lot of your decisions on the demand for your product. So what does that look like? I mean, when is like, I'm so stinking competitive. I'm trying to get everything, so, what's that look like? I'm filled up for, well over a year. So, what's that tell me? Well, it tells me that maybe I should go up on my prices. I bet you I've raised my prices 10 times in 2.5 years.
10 times.
Something like that. I remember telling you a story about Megan, one of the girls in my area, that I started these Alliance of Achiever workshops to try to share some of my stuff. And she just bought a new venue here in my market. And I was trying to, hers is a real high end one with a chef, and it's not a ranch or a farm. It's more of a plantation building, and she was asking me about how, I asked her about how her pricing. I go, what do you charge for the venue, or and what do you just hired a chef, right? She said, yeah. And so how do you price your menu? And she goes, yeah, we were just talking about that. We don't know whether to adjust our pricing for the food or whatever. I go, listen, you go back today and you increase your rental rate $500. Nobody will even know you probably even did it. And then you take this other side of the ledger where your income comes from your food and beverage. Let's say you wanted to make an extra $500 there. Well, on a party of 100, you would have to generate an additional 1,000. I was figuring on I think it was a 30% profit margin. You would have to increase your price $1,666 to generate the $500 worth of profit that you would have over here. I go, this is the secret to your business. You don't let that chef talk you into worrying about his food costs and all that crap. That's the byproduct. The food is somewhat important, but keep edging your pricing up over here, and then I would go down and raise it $1,000, go down $500 over here, so that when you come in and you deliver this menu to Dee Dee, she goes, holy crap, I get all this for $40 a head or $50 a head. This is amazing. It's the same thing in a club business. You have your dues over here, or your rental, whatever you want to call it. And over here you have the everyday transactions that go into the emotions of, the members enjoying their club. And just like if you book this wedding, Dee Dee, and, after you booked it, there's a fee you paid for over here. But over here now you're dealing with this menu. I want to get this and this and this. Okay, blow their socks off, because it doesn't matter. Your money, your profit's over here. And this money over here is 100%. There's no cost to it, basically.
Right.
Over every food and beverage dollar you got 70-80% costs associated with every dollar. So, keep going up over here,
Right. I love that math. And I love that our venue owners are so willing to share that. So not only do you have excellent customer service and experience with your clients and your staff, you also convey that to your vendors, which I absolutely love, because the value your vendors give you in content and excellent experience as well. Like, they're your support team giving excellent experience to those couples. Obviously, they really appreciate working with you and supporting you. So I would love to hear a little bit about your venue features.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear, and I do get that. I actually had a caterer the other day tell me, she says, Ron, everybody hates you, don't you? And I go, no, not really. I go, why? She goes, because we're just always bragging about you. And you're our favorite place to be at, So she says, I guess she had to back it down a little bit because people were getting envious, I guess. I don't know. But
well, I always say it's when they stop talking about you that you have a problem. If nobody's talking about you, you're not doing something right.
Yeah. But I can't take any of the really credit for, I mean, a couple of things that you hit on there. Social media is extremely important. Well, my lead wedding coordinator, she's very good at putting stuff out there on Instagram and TikTok and taking little snippet videos. And but I have hired two Furman University interns since I started. So they're all those girls are typically really versed in the social media stuff. So they're constantly putting stuff out there. They're constantly looking at my website and putting new pictures on there, new blogs and stuff like that. So I can't really take any of the credit. I don't even know the stuff is out there.
Well, they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job.
They are doing a great job, and I appreciate them. And we're always looking for, to try to be relevant. We're kind of developing a reputation that we're the trendsetter in my marketplace. They after 2 years, Wedding and Event Magazine, the prominent magazine in our marketplace, comes out here and says, "Ron, we'd like to put you on the cover of our magazine." I go, "Whoa, that's a big honor."
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you're always trying to improve, and there's always something you can learn. But you just gotta stay after it, and you gotta. I mean, I guess in the beginning I was doing everything myself, including mowing 33 acres out here. But now I got staff that mow that, and I got 3 wedding coordinators. I got a couple of assistants. I got a couple of Furman interns. I got 2 maintenance guys. So that's just part of the growing and getting better. And
well, so tell us a few things, since we're talking about social media and your online presence. The social media obviously is there to showcase your venue assets and your venue. What sets your venue aside? What does it look like? Is it a luxury, estate with columns? Is it a barn with a dirt floor? Is it waterside? Is it a pavilion? All those questions come up when the couple is looking. They want to know, what does the venue look like? So what are some of the features that your couples love about your venue?
Well, it's a rolling hills of 33 acres. And I have, we determined early on that we did a lot of research. That was another thing you need to do. You need to go around and visit a lot of places before you start and collect your ideas and formulate your business plan, basically. But we 33 acres, rolling hills. We thought everybody was going rustic with most of these things, and we thought rustic could become a fad. So we intentionally said we're going to go country chic, and we painted our barn white. And if you go inside our barn, this barn seats 300 people. It's got the beams and all that stuff, but it's not so high that it's very intimate. And I was trying to create a venue that did have an indoor-outdoor feel to it, where you didn't have to close the door behind you and get that claustrophobic feeling. So I have these 12-foot openings on one side of the barn. There's 4 of them. And they face a 3-acre spring-fed lake, which faces the North Carolina mountains, which faces the west where the sun drops. So all these things, just are a blessing. The lake has 3 springs that feed it, so it's not stagnant water. I've never been bitten by a mosquito. I've never had to spray for bugs. There's always seems to be a little breeze coming through here. It's just, I tell people, there's so much natural beauty. I try not to muck it up, So I have that, and then I built this little chapel down on the lake that sits fairly close to the lake, and then it kind of has an amphitheater effect, the terrain, and I just put wooden built-in just benches, outdoor benches that seats a couple hundred people, and that's again, it's quaint, it's simple. It does have a little, chapel. It's 15 by 19 feet with a cross on top, and then I have an 8-foot cross if people want that. We can put it, behind you, face, so when you take a picture, you get the bride and the groom, the chapel, and the lake, and the cross. So we have that, and then really what sets us apart is I built this 3-bedroom guest house, which we call the bridal suite. And it sits up on the hill. So I tell all the girls, you're like a bird up there. You get perched and you watch your day unfold below you. And
I love that.
well, and we, Wedding Wire came out and filmed it and said it was the nicest bridal suite they had filmed in over 8 years.
Wow.
So, and to be honest with you, I probably, because we start the tours off in that building, and I could think of at least 8 girls that booked their wedding and we didn't even go to the barn.
Oh, wow.
They just knew, whoa, man, this is, so anyways, that's pretty cool. And I've gotten a couple other guys to be the decision makers because I give them lifetime fishing privileges in the lake.
That's awesome. Well, and also tell us a little bit about the membership that you have.
Yeah. That was going to segue right into that. So, as you know, I like to be different. I like to come up with different niches that can make me different. So, I'm using my private club background into my venue, where I go, listen, Dee Dee, if you and your husband or you and your fiance get married here, you become a member of the ranch. You don't just get this date and time. You become a member. Well, what's that mean? Well, it means that you're welcome to come out here forever and do photo shoots every year. If you want to come back and do an anniversary, or you have some kids, you want to bring them out here and do family portraits, or you want to bring the kids fishing. I want you to feel like the ranch is part of you too, a membership. And then I said, I try to give back throughout the year. I will do at least 2 of my own parties. We call them bonfire parties, and where I provide a band, I provide the food. You just bring what you want to drink, and that's my give back to you. And I will invite you forever. Every year, I'll invite you to all these parties. So that's kind of cool. And then in the club business, I had led a team of general managers one time where we focused on how can we emotionally keep a member attached to the club more. And there's a lot of different ways you can, feed on that, which adds value to your club membership. So like if Dee Dee, you and your husband were runner up in the golf tournament and we took your picture and we put it on the wall in the club, well, that's an emotional attachment. It's there, you show your friends, it kind of keeps you there. Well, I was trying to figure out what I could do for the ranch membership. So I started putting the kids' names on a brick paver. And I built a pathway from my chapel to the barn now. And you'll look through there and it'll go, Bob and Sue Smith, November 2021, boom, there's their brick. So it's kind of like a walk of fame or whatever, But it's just, that's an emotional attachment that brick will always be there. They can always come back and look at it. Hey, we got married here. Look at kids. We got married here.
That is so sweet. I love that. I think that's so sweet and so unique. That's a unique feature. Yeah. And imagine all the couples coming through when they have questions and they don't really know you. They're starting to get to know you. They're starting to build that trust. And this is probably one of the biggest investments they've ever made. It's probably one of the first adulting experiences they're kind of going through, with big decisions. And to have a moment where they look and they see all those bricks with all those other couples who chose to have their wedding with you, who trusted you, who realized that investment made sense for them. And that experience was, what they wanted. So I love that you have the bricks. I think that conveys that sense of trust. And I think it's better than a Google review, in my opinion, if they're walking through and they're seeing all of those. I think that speaks volumes for the experience that those couples before them had as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to find I don't know if you can see that at all, Dee Dee.
I can. And I'm also going to try and find that picture and share it. I think I have that in my folder so that we can share that on the blog on weddingvenueowners.com, because I just think that's so beautiful. Okay, for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm a high heels kind of a girl. I don't like waddling through the grass. I'll do it, but I don't love it. And I don't love those white rocks because I'm teetering and they're poking and they're getting white rock dust all over my cute shoes. Listen, shoes are kind of the reason I'm willing to go to one of these events, shoes and food. and booze, if we're being honest. Okay. So if I know that some of those things are missing and I have to wear my shoes out there and get my shoes all muddy, we're already starting. I mean, the only thing worse than that is a naked cake. You didn't even give me icing. I need a ton of icing. So first we started off teetering through the grass, getting my shoes dirty. Then we ended up with the naked cake. In my mind, this wedding that I just invented in my mind is terrible. So I appreciate your pavers.
I'll thank you for wearing those high heels because you're airifying my yard.
I like to give back.
And speaking of cake, I tell all the couples, I said, look, well, I tell everybody, I said, well, listen, I'm going to give you my opinion about a lot of stuff. You don't have to listen to me. This is your day, but I'm still going to give you my opinion. I said, don't get a big cake. I said, I throw away more cake than anything, so get you a small cake for the two of you. And then I really like, because we have the wooden tiered display. I like the cake shots, not cupcakes.
Oh, yeah.
Cake shots are in a little shot glass. I got a little dinky spoon, and it's 3 or 4, good bites. That's all anybody needs. If you give them a big piece of cake and they're drinking, that's a buzzkill. So,
soaking up all of that good booze space of cake.
Right. That's right.
Tips from Ron. Ron, you're sharing all the value today. The tips that you have.
They just keep on coming. My girls are so tired of hearing me tell the same stories.
Well, speaking of your planners, do you have sales goals and like benefits or bonuses or enticers or any of those types of things? How do you handle sales with your team? And I'm assuming that most of the leads come in through you and then you disperse them.
No. And I think this is a good point, Dee Dee, because you got to in the beginning, you have to do everything, but now. What are you best at? This is exactly where I belong. This is my role. These people feel my passion. They're deciding to book here largely because of me, and I make them feel that way. And that's that whole club stuff coming out of me. And so, no, I don't. I do every single tour. And so what I'm trying to do now is, when you start to develop your systems as you get bigger and better, I'm trying to just that's all I do is sell. And then let everybody else manage. So so I don't delegate the sales role. I'm doing all of that myself. And, but not everybody can do that. So you might be best at, whatever other aspect of the business is, because I know a lot of owners out there that are, I get couples coming to me and they say, man, that lady or that guy, they were a jerk. They were terrible, and I know it's true, you're
right. You have to figure out what you're really good at and what you love to do. If you're not good at tours, that is a big deal, but it's not a business killer. You can outsource that to someone who is great at doing the tour process. You just got to identify what you're awesome at and what is killing your conversion. And a venue owner that is not good at the venue tours or doesn't have a system for that, you've got to identify that quickly and pass that on or improve or figure out a solution, because that's obviously a huge part in your best conversion. And if your conversion is lagging, there's reasons for that. They can be tweaked and fixed, but if you're just sitting on bad conversion and you're not figuring out why, that's the problem. That's where you really have to, don't waste time. There's no accidental success here. You have to take control of situations that are not working. And if you're not great at something, delegate it. There's always a way to outsource these things and free yourself from the headaches that you're not great at, and then to shine. It's about building a team, and you're your leader. So you kind of got to admit to yourself the things that you're great at and not great at.
Another thing we talked about before, and really what I think tickled your interest in us doing some stuff, as I started talking to you about these 2 Furman interns I had, and they came to me one day and said, "Hey, Ron, you think we could do an influencer brunch at the ranch?" And I go, "Okay, sure." And he said, "Well, it'll be on a Wednesday, nothing's going on." So I just let them run with it. And then comes the day, and I guess looking backwards, these influencers had to have 5,000 followers, and they came from different states. They came from all over the place. There was 20 of them down there. So the day of, I asked the girls, I said, "Do you know these people?" I didn't, and to be honest with you, I didn't know what an influencer was. And she goes, "No, we don't know them. We just put this thing together, and these influencers are really interested in this." So I said, "Do you want me to come down and introduce you?" And so that's what we did. They had the barn all set up in this little intimate, living room setting, and their brunch stuff, and it was really well done. And but you could just, I know this feeling of entrepreneurship, and you could feel the vibration in the room. So I just, as I usually do, just off the cuff, start talking to them about, how I got started. And anyways, I just started telling them some of my business lessons, and they were like sponges, and we found out that nobody had ever brought them together before. I guess there's never been an entity that brought these people together. So the dynamics of the whole thing was phenomenal. And I know you and I are trying to piggyback on that and create something on more of a regional or national level, which I think would be really cool. But I guess the point is that an influencer is a great way to latch on to somebody too. And I don't think they charge that much. And there's so many different ones out there. And that's kind of the, where marketing is going. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good thing to at least look at and see if you can't get some help. I mean,
Yeah,
people
try to look in your own market. Just look on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Just look at some of the business pages in your own market, do your location, and then go outside of your location a little bit, see what's happening in your state. But see on your I like to start on Instagram for influence. Look at their pages, see who has 4, 5, 6,000. Micro influencer could even be 1,500 followers. The thing you want to see is how engaged are their followers. So if someone with 1,000 or 1,500 followers posts and they get 200 or 300 likes, and somebody with 8,000 or 10,000 followers posts and they get 1 or 2 likes, that's the difference. Is you want to see who's really engaging with the right type of content at the right time and making a really big impact with what they have. That's a great influencer. So the term micro influencer is kind of flying around, and that, somewhere, under around 5,000. And then you get your bigger influencers, but we're wedding industry. We're niche, we don't need millions of influencers and followers. We're not going to have mascara, Kaylee and Kylie Jenner kind of influence typically. Yeah. So 4,000 and 5,000 can be enough. So look at your photographers, look at your wedding planners, look at your DJs, look at the people in your market, florists and things like that, and find out who has a really good big following and start to connect with them. See if they can share some information. See if they'd like to do, something with Ron and I. Ron and I are putting some things together and feeling that out. So we'd love to know it. If you have influencers in your market that you want to share with us, let us know, because we're compiling that information so that we can do some great things for our wedding venue community. And speaking of that, I would love to hear, Ron, a little bit about your local support that you have started to do in your own market. So a lot of venue owners ask, should I reach out locally? I want to reach out to local venue owners. I haven't had any luck. We had at the Charleston Wedding Venue Owners Working Vacation, we had a venue owner, and he said he had started the process of reaching out to venues. He wanted to connect. He didn't get any reception locally. He didn't really get anything sparked, a couple hundred miles out. He said that when he started to get communication and connection was when he was about 600 miles away from his venue. That's when he started to get receptive venue owners. So venue owners want to connect and want to reach out. A lot of them have had something bad happen in the past. I get it. The couple that pretends to be parents of an engaged couple. So they go to your venue and they get all your brochures and your contract and all of that kind of stuff, so that they can replicate it. And that's, venue owners, please don't do that. We have working vacations. You can come to our wedding venues. We have resources for that. You can get that information, but just don't be sneaky about it. So anyway, most venue owners have had something. Either somebody started up and named a business almost exactly their venue name, or somebody's bashing, or whatever it is. You can't get bogged down into that garbage. It will distract you and waste your time. But Ron, you're starting something so powerful in your own local market. You're starting to have a lot of good traction with your local venue owners. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was prompted again by my experience when I entered this venue into this marketplace, and just the stuff that I see going on. And my problem is I know too much, I think. Hopefully I don't come off boastfully, but I always said this: when I got out of Club Corp, I didn't realize how highly trained I was until I got outside, because that was just our culture. Well, nobody else has it. Nobody. And so I find myself all the time looking around and go, oh, where did you get your training? Where did you get your training? Where did you get your, and chances are they've had none, formalized training. And that's, there's pros and cons of the corporate world, but I wasn't happy with what I was experiencing. Went to a couple things in my marketplace that were put on by local associations, stuff like that. And, to me, they were terrible. And I go, this isn't how you learn. So as a regional for Club Corp, I used to go around the country and facilitate these workshops, and it would be on topics sometimes that I wasn't an expert at, but I could facilitate the workshop on any subject. So anyways, and then I used my club background. I go, okay, I'm going to start my own association, and it's going to be a club, and it's going to be by invitation only. This is how you get into this club. And it's all going to be upper crust venues. What's upper crust? Well, it's just my perception going through the magazines that I see different things, what their price points are, if they're on the uppity scale, then that might be a possible candidate. So anyways, I've reached out, and just like you're talking about that girl or guy, but I mean, you just can't just throw something out there. You got to be, first of all, you got to be respected enough in your own marketplace to, warrant a response. Second is, I'm more kamikaze style. Dee, this is what I'm doing. I call you. I call people I have never met, but I liked what I saw them doing, and they're so excited because the majority of these people have never had anything, And then I got a couple of them that do have a little bit of a corporate background, and they're just like, Ron, let me host one of these for you. They're just gung ho. Yariel and Ken, you met Yariel. I mean,
they're eager to share.
Yeah, I mean, Ken called me and took me to play golf last Sunday. So it's these relationships that you build up, but you got to be. So anyways, this has kind of been manifesting. We're about to have our third meeting on September 15th. The format we're trying to do is we're trying to make it it's a venue owners club. So you got to be, and we were thinking about capping it off at maybe like 20, 20 of the, there's no real magical number. And then we're also inviting top vendors to come to these workshops too, even though they won't technically be a member, but we wanted to share some of the information with them because it's valuable for them also. So anyways, it's gone really well, Dee, and this is what's I already kind of teased them in my invitation for the September meeting. I go, I got an important announcement to make, because we're gonna do one of Dee Dee's venue tours in Greenville next April, and I want to have this all set up for you so it's easy peasy for you. Yeah. I've experienced what you do, so I got the concept down. So I'm just gonna expand on that, and you just show up, Dee Dee. We're gonna take care of this.
I love it. I love it so much.
Well, I got to tell you though that we named our club the Alliance of Achievers.
Yes, and I think that says it all. I think it's people that want to achieve success, that want their market to be successful. If the venue owners in New Orleans are doing an excellent job of making sure that weddings are safe and beautiful, and then the hotels are working with those venues, and the vendors are working with those vendors to create this incredible experience, guess what? New Orleans becomes 80-90% destination wedding. And now we talk about Austin, and Austin doing the same thing. Austin was not always the talk when you talked about wedding destination. Phoenix, Arizona, there are so many amazing cities. Havre de Grace, Maryland. Not a lot of people have heard of that, but when you start to search destination weddings or waterfront weddings or whatever, Havre de Grace, they come together to create marketing power, a powerhouse of marketing, a really great branding, really excellent experience. I mean, you can't have accidentally successful people among really targeted people, because the accidentally successful people are just like, we're just here for the ride. We don't really care. You know, we're not really, if it works out, it works out. That's not the group that I'm interested in soaring with. I'm interested in soaring with people that are really dedicated and on track to elevating what we offer in-house and what we offer as a community and making a bigger impact. And that's what I love about your Alliance of Achievers. It's brilliant and beautiful. And I hope it would catch on in other markets. I could see, you know, us working together to get some other venue owners to come out and train with you and learn how to maybe start something up in their own community. It's not easy, and everybody doesn't have, you know, the ability to direct like that. But when you think about what you can do as a leader of your community, there is no bounds. There is no limits. Just because it hasn't worked before doesn't mean it will not work now.
Well, you have to have the abundance mentality, like Stephen Covey's book said. You got to. I mean, you got to be willing to be vulnerable. You got to be willing to be open. You got to be able to share your worst experiences along with your best experiences. And I tell people all the time, I don't give a crap if a top venue opens up across the street from me. I don't care. You know, I just love sharing, and that's how you grow. And you know, so many people need to change things that they're doing. Well, how do you know you need to change them? Well, maybe you got to learn, you know. So and the way I do these, Dee Dee, is, and this is my belief system in how you learn. Because I've been to a couple seminars, and I sit there and doze off while somebody's talking to me for 5 hours. No. I put you in a round table with 3 or 4 other people, and I put a flip chart on that table, and I have these tables going on. And I ask a thought-provoking question, or I put it out there to somebody in the audience. What is a thought-provoking question you have on your mind? And then what we do is we just, all right, everybody spends 10 or 15 minutes at that table discussing, you know, what's going on in their world and how to respond to this. And then you ding, time's up. All right, Dee Dee, stand up and tell the rest of the group what your table just went over. And you share that. And when you do it that way, people learn. They participate and they learn. So I'm just really big on that, because just as you just got done articulating, that's what we used to do in Club Corp. My manager, we had 13 mini regions around the country. The regional manager I had when I was a general manager brought us together every single month, and we had to be vulnerable, man. You had to put our numbers up on there, and then it was intimidating. You didn't want to go to that meeting with bad numbers or whatever. But when you had situations arise, I had 12 other general managers in there. Well, Ron, why don't you try this? Have you tried that? This is what we do. That's how you get better, you know. And it's you just got to be open. I mean, I'm. People say I'm the most competitive person they've ever met, you know. And I am, you know. And that's what keeps driving me to be the best, you know. But I also like to share. I don't care if you're second best across the street. You're not going to be first best, but you can be second best.
Well, you know, some of us are not here to be mediocre. You know what I mean? That's not the driving force. But
I love the saying, you know how I can predict the future? By creating it. I love to create my future. And I know that feeling. And I get really mad at myself when I feel stagnant and I feel like I'm existing. I don't like that feeling. I gotta be growing all the time, you know.
You're always striving.
That's why I'm wired. Yeah.
I get that. I love that. I think sometimes people get depressed or down and they sink into that and they don't come out. I think when you are striving for something, when you have focus on something, even if everything isn't working out as exactly how you'd like it, or you're feeling like, you know, you're not as successful as you want to be, as long as you have those focused tasks for you to just do the next right thing, just continue to focus on there, you start to generate that energy that brings you out of that. And now you're not losing your business or losing your focus or getting off track for 5 months and coming back and trying to fix it later. Never let those things happen. You have too many people in the wedding venue owners and managers community that want to see every one of you succeed, that really deeply want to share with others. And that is the most beautiful thing that I've experienced in 20 years in hospitality, sales, and events, is this, effort, especially after COVID and after everyone went through such hardship, to really reach out and share and support. There was support before, but what's happened afterwards is a reminder that it can all go any minute. And if we're not sharing knowledge, listen, if we're not sharing knowledge with each other, someone out there is willing to make us pay a hefty price tag to get nuggets of knowledge, not the whole thing, because they got to string you along and keep you paying and all that. If you're not learning it yourself or learning it from our group and from our venue owners, then you're being charged for it and probably getting a watered down version of what you would get from each other.
Yeah, and you're experiencing the same dang thing. You're doing all these tours all over the country. For the most part, these people that come to these things, this is the first time they've really been able to share anything, and hopefully, I would bet $1 million the feedback you get on these things is very, very positive. That people learn something, but that's hopefully you planted that seed in people. I'd be willing to bet you, make a bet with you, at least 80% of the venues out there, whoever's running the thing, have not visited their competition.
Yeah.
And yet they sit there and they try to tell you why you're better than the other place. Get your butt out of your office, off your seat, go visit these places.
Absolutely.
Take it in.
Yeah. Continue to research, not just when you're opening, but throughout the entire process. How do you stay innovative? How do you stay razor sharp? You get out there, you find out what's going on. You look at other websites, you look at this information. I mean, I'm in 200 or 300 wedding industry websites a week. I'm obsessed with looking at what information they're sharing. What do they say about their venue? I love it. It keeps me sharp. It keeps you focused. I might go through 100 websites that look pretty darn good. And then I get to one and I'm like, I never saw that before. That is crazy. That makes sense. Why isn't that on every web? That is amazing. So the way to be innovative too is just to take time to sharpen your tools and make sure that you're doing that with other successful wedding venue owners. No one can teach you or share with you really valid information about being a venue owner like other wedding venue owners and managers. They are in it, they live it, they breathe it, they do it. They know what things failed for them. They know what things succeeded for them. And that's not a guarantee it'll work for you, but at least you're armed with that information now to make a decision that is right for you and your venue.
People call me all the time and ask me for the price that I charge. I go, well, I give them my range. I try to flip it back on them by saying, well, what are you looking for? What are the things, when do you want it? Are you open to flexible dates? What is your overall budget? That's what I'm really trying to get to.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had to recently tell so many girls, I said, listen, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to waste your time, but your $10,000 budget for everything for 150 people it's just not going to work here. And, they fall in love with the venue, but they had no idea that they need a budget, higher than that, But my point was, I try to get them out here at all costs because, you cannot understand the true value of a place until you visit it. So I know what you're saying. You can't travel to all of these places, but you actually get to by your tours. But in your own competitive market, if you haven't gone out and visited these places, you really don't know. You gotta take it in, and don't be a chicken about it. Go over there and say, Hey, Dee Dee, I'm Ron Hackle. I own Southwind Ranch. You mind sharing, tell me about your venue? And 99% of people, they'll go, sure, Ron, come on in. Or, I've never been saying, get the hell out of here, dude. You're my competition. Stay away from me. That's never
Well,
happened.
that's the difference, I think, right there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, fear or faith. You operate in fear, you lose out on a lot of opportunity, a lot of information. When you lock the gates around your island and you stay out there and you're on your own little island, you know, you can do okay. But when you open your mind and your intake to what is happening off your island, out in that unfamiliar place, how other people are operating, how other people are managing, how other people are solving problems and challenges, imagine what you're opening yourself up to. Incredible success, incredible knowledge, solutions, direct solutions to wedding venues, which, you know, that's what we're here for, solutions and companionship and camaraderie and having a tribe. You know, you found your tribe and it feels good. I love reading all the posts in the venue owners and managers community. I love seeing that other venue owners step up to help and support. And I love what you're doing in your market, Ron. And I love that we're going to be out there next year and that we're going to do some special projects together. I'm going to share this video and introduce the people more to Ron and put you out there. Ready or not, here he comes. He's coming out. And I think that obviously people are going to learn a lot from this, but I think they're going to learn even more as we get out and we adventure and we tour these venues and we give so much that we can share and learn from each other. And I just applaud you and what you're doing and being a leader in your market and helping those venue owners find solutions and find each other. And that we'll be out to see you soon. And so I just want to thank you so much for sharing and continuing to share and really, you know, just starting the sparks all over this country of venue owners, you know, taking that leadership role to share and innovate with others. It's a beautiful thing.
As they say at Chick-fil-A, my pleasure.
Awesome. All right, Ron, thank you so much. I will be posting this. I'll let you know when it's up and running. And, you know, thank you very much. And we have a lot of information to share on the end caption. So Ron's information will be there. Southwind Ranch website will be there. Also the Wedding Venue Owners Working Vacation, where we're going to be visiting Ron and Southwind Ranch and a lot of amazing venues. So all of that information and dates and times and links will be at the end of this video. Don't forget to like and share if you're on YouTube, and share this, and then invite all of your colleague venue owner. You know, a great conversation to connect with venue owners. I'm going to give you this cheat right now before we go. Call them and say, hey, you neighbor venue, I'm so-and-so at this venue. Guess what? I know of an amazing wedding venue owners group, and I just wanted to invite you to it because it's nationwide and there's no competition in it. And I didn't know if you were a member at that. Thought I would give you a call and share this amazing tool with you. Oh, you're welcome. By the way, why don't I come by and have some coffee? Let's do this. I'll invite you to my venue. You invite me to yours. Let's do a little venue exchange tour. There's my little baby for you. My little seed. Drop it in a plant and water it, and then tell me how it goes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ron.
Thank you, Dee Dee. You're awesome.
Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.